If you've gardened long enough, you've probably noticed something strange. Some plants thrive against all odds, while others struggle even when you do everything right. Fertilizer, compost, mulch, microbes, you name it, yet there's a quiet, almost whispered practice that keeps resurfacing across old farming traditions, biodynamic methods, and even modern research papers: copper in the soil and plant system. Today on Soil Power, let's talk openly about it. Not hype, not magic. Just grounded, practical gardening wisdom that many people dismiss or quietly avoid discussing. One simple copper wire, used correctly, can dramatically influence plant health, vigor, and yield. And once you understand why, you'll never look at your soil the same way again. Copper is one of those elements that makes people nervous. Mention it in gardening forums and you'll hear warnings about toxicity, heavy metals, and never add it to soil. While excess copper can be harmful, the conversation often stops there, and that's the problem. Plants don't just tolerate copper, they require it. Copper is a micronutrient, meaning plants need it in small amounts, but without it, critical biological processes slow down or fail completely. Modern soils, especially heavily tilled or chemically fertilized ones, are often copper deficient, not copper rich. The reason this feels forbidden isn't because it doesn't work, it's because micronutrient biology doesn't fit neatly into fertilizer marketing. You can't sell huge bags of copper, you need understanding instead. Copper plays a direct role in photosynthesis, respiration, enzyme activation, and lignin formation. In plain language, copper helps plants move energy efficiently, strengthen cell walls, and resist disease. When copper is deficient, plants may look weak, pale, floppy, or prone to fungal problems. Fruit set can be poor, flowers drop, growth stalls even when nitrogen and phosphorus are abundant. Here's the key insight many gardeners miss. Adding more compost won't fix a missing micronutrient. Compost improves soil life, but if copper is absent or locked up, plants still struggle. Copper acts like a conductor in an electrical system. Without it, the current, the flow of nutrients and energy, becomes inefficient. The idea of using copper wire isn't new. Variations of this practice show up in European vineyard traditions, biodynamic farming, and even early greenhouse experiments. The concept is simple. Copper, when exposed to moisture in soil biology, releases minute ionic traces over time. These traces are not fertilizer doses. They're signals. They influence microbial behavior, enzyme activity, and plant metabolism. Some gardeners place a short length of bare copper wire into the soil near the root zone. Others wrap copper wire around the base of a plant stem without piercing it. The goal is never to feed copper aggressively, but to reintroduce a missing element gently and slowly. When done correctly, results often show as stronger stems, darker leaves, improved flowering, and better resistance to disease. When copper availability improves, plants don't just grow bigger, they grow more efficient. Nutrients already present in the soil suddenly become more accessible. Photosynthesis improves, root-to-leaf communication tightens. This is where some gardeners see dramatic yield increases, not because copper is magic, but because it unlocks what was already there. Think of it like sharpening a blade instead of swinging harder. The same effort produces better results. In healthy, biologically active soil, copper helps regulate nitrogen uptake. That means less lush but weak growth and more balanced, productive plants that know when to flower and fruit. This is where experience matters. Copper is powerful precisely because plants need so little of it. Always use pure copper, not coated wire, not electrical wire with unknown alloys. A single short piece is enough for many plants. More is not better. So, never grind copper into powder or bury large quantities. That's really how toxicity happens. Copper wire works because it releases ions slowly over months and years, not just days. If your soil is already rich in minerals or heavily amended with manure and compost, it's best to start conservatively. Just observe. Gardening is a dialogue, not a command. And, remember, copper works best in living soil, Without microbes, its benefits are, well, pretty muted. Modern agriculture, simplified nutrition into NPK numbers because they're just so easy to measure, package and sell, but micronutrients like copper, well, they require observation, soil biology, and a bit of restraint, and honestly, those qualities don't really scale well when you're talking about industrial farming. As soils degraded and yields were kind of propped up with chemicals, copper's subtle role was, well, overshadowed. Warnings about toxicity, while definitely valid if you go overboard, became this sort of blanket discouragement. But small-scale gardeners, especially folks who are rebuilding soil health, are starting to rediscover that, hey, balance matters more than just abundance. If copper is helping, changes are usually subtle but meaningful. Leaves may appear thicker and richer in color, plants stand more upright, flowering becomes more synchronized, disease pressure decreases. You may also notice earthworms and microbes becoming more active over time. That's no coincidence. Copper influences microbial enzymes just as much as plant ones. The real win isn't just yield, it's resilience. This isn't about secret hacks or rebellious gardening. It's really about respecting the complexity of soil and plant systems, and, questioning why some tools are dismissed before they're even understood. One copper wire won't fix bad soil overnight, but in a living, well-managed garden, it can act as a quiet catalyst, just nudging biology back into balance. If this perspective helped you see soil differently, well, that's the real harvest. If you found this valuable, subscribe to Soil Power, share this with a fellow gardener who's ready to go deeper, and keep growing not just plants, but understanding.